Routes Through Pokemon Detour. We are your hosts, Team Rocket executives Shea Locke
and Ruby.
And together, we are a father-daughter team going through the main series of Pokemon games, starting with Red, Blue, and Yellow and going until the games end. Or we do. And we also go through the anime series and the Pokemon Adventures Manga. And this week, in our Detour episode, we have kind of a weird one, because Ruby and I decided to venture a bit off the path, and we're going to catch up in the manga for that section, as well as bring in an interesting new guest. But before we jump into that, let's catch up on what's been going on in our lives. So first of all, in the last episode, I forgot to mention that I got hooked onto Marvel Rivals, which has been a lot of fun for me. Been trying to knock out the daily things and get all the story stuff unlocked. I don't do much of the competition part of it, like the ranking battles and tournaments and stuff like that. I'm not as interested in that, and I probably won't do very well in that because I'm not good at these types of games. But it's been a lot of fun, unlocking a few costumes and stuff, so I've been having fun. I was surprised to find that Penny Parker's probably one of the ones I'm best with and enjoy playing her. Storm's also a lot of fun. I'm terrible at playing Psylocke, but I want to be better, so I try her sometimes. Those are kind of the main ones I think I use. Once they put Gambit in, that'll be my guy. And then, recently, Ruby and I went on a birthday date, because her birthday wasn't too long ago, and we decided to make part of that stop Build-A-Bear, where we put together our new Pokemon buddy. Yes, we got Cubone with a really fun poncho. Love that thing.
He's one of the heftier ones, too.
Yeah, he's a solid little guy. Besides that, I have not been doing actually a ton with Pokemon Go, keeping up on some daily stuff like catching a Pokemon and feeding my buddy and stuff like that, but I haven't been able to get out that much. I was planning on doing some when we went to the mall, but totally forgot to do that, so.
Oops.
We were too busy having fun with other stuff, which is perfectly fine. So yeah, I didn't participate in the catch quest / hatch quest, which raids and hatching certain Pokemon. But I knew I wasn't going out that much, so it was going to be harder to do, especially with the cold weather. It was a really chilly weekend. And then I'm looking forward to the Community Day stuff coming around Christmas time. That'll be fun, and any Christmas quests that are going to come down the line, I'll see what I can accomplish there. But in the meantime, I've also been just working hard to make sure all the Christmas story stuff that you've now probably already listened to was done on time and recorded on time so that you could have it. It's been a lot of work. And then, wasting time playing Marvel Rivals on occasion. So, do you have anything to add, Ruby?
No.
All right. So with that out of the way, we will start with our Detour journey. All right. If you've been listening along, you know that one recording, we realized it was Friday and decided to go after Lapras. So that was the first part of our detour. Went back to Union Cave, found the source of the mysterious noises on Fridays, and there we both caught Lapras in Gold and Silver. And much later, I finally caught up in Crystal with that. But yeah, we had gotten Surf in Ecruteak City and gotten the ability to use it outside of battle, so we went exploring with Surf. But in the Union Cave, we found some fun stuff. There were some cool trainers in there. And the first one I ran into had the 3 Kanto starters, which was fun, like Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle. And then the other one had an Eevee along with the Kanto Evolution, so Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon. So those are some favorite trainers because they were definitely cool because they had all those. And we didn't get all the trainers when we were first down there or finished exploring because we were trying to get Lapras, and then we had to save and we had other things to do. So we definitely went back and finished wrapping those up. You fought the battles that you didn't fight.
Yeah, it took forever. You had to go heal after each one and go make a big trek.
Oh yeah, because there was the 2 trainers on that first level too.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. They were tough.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have troubles defeating them.
But they took a lot out of us. Yeah.
So you had to go heal again.
Absolutely. And then we decided to head to the ruins of Alf because there was water there that we could finally cross to get into another part of it and basically free out some more unknown in the main chamber.
And it was actually really easy for me to find the ruins of Alf. It's I've been there before a couple of times.
A couple 100 times. And we had another sliding picture to do, and it was another fossil Pokemon, so that was kind of fun.
They were a little tricky.
Yeah, the Aerodactyl did turn out to be kind of tricky, but we figured them out.
Because, like, some pieces are really interchangeable, but they have to be the right ones, so it's kind of hard to do.
Yep. I didn't bother catching any unknown right now, but at some point I'll go back and finish collecting all the letters. Did you catch any more?
Mm-mm.
Then we surfed all the water we found on the way to New Barktown, including in the Dark Cave, but there was like a entrance there that across the water that took us to a place where I think we needed like strength or something, so we couldn't go far.
Yeah.
And then in New Barktown, we decided to sail across, and I talked to the first person on the next chunk of land that we got to.
And I was about to.
And you weren't quite there yet, and I realized that was revealing some information that I didn't want Ruby to know yet, that I've already known. So I'm like, maybe we should not explore this way any longer and just go back.
I fought him on it for a little while, and he kind of gave in, but then I'm like, alright, fine.
Yeah, I was going to let her because she really wanted to, but then she accepted, so we left. So we didn't finish exploring that direction. Someday.
Because I won't talk to him, because I couldn't know.
Yep.
And it was kind of funny how oblivious I was later as well to it.
Oh, for sure. So then we went back to Goldenrod, and I got my Charmander egg, because I had left Charizard there.
And my stupid something Wave and Ditto, they don't want to have an egg.
Yeah, so I'll have to use Crystal to start getting some of those eggs, because, yeah, there's something up with the Ditto and the Blastoise. I know there's some stat or something that I think causes it, or whatever, and I'm not sure.
I should probably get them back from the daycare center now.
You probably should.
They've been in there forever.
But then, in Goldenrod as well, we got our Eevee some haircuts again, and we've been doing that a lot.
Gotta keep cutting hair. Keep cutting.
And then it was
cutting.
time to go back to Ecruteak.
Where was Ecruteak? Is that after Goldenrod?
Yeah, that's the fourth gym, the Ghost Gym, the 2 towers.
Oh yeah.
Now, in Ecruteak, we were supposed to be able to go into the Tin Tower now, and so we talked to the guy in Tin Tower and learned that we need a rainbow something. I forget what it was, like a rainbow scale or shell or I don't remember, but something rainbow. So we can't do anything more there, but I mean, I guess that has something to do with getting Ho-Oh later.
Yeah, maybe.
And then in Crystal, when I got there, it was actually different. So in Gold and Silver, when we get there, we get past the guy that used to block us, but since we beat the gym, we were able to go into that little tunnel. We go through the tunnel, up the stairs, and we're in that room, and we go out of the room and follow a path to the tower, and go in the tower, and in the tower, the guy's like, hey, you need the rainbow thing. In Crystal, well, after the tunnel part, when you go up into that room before the path, there's a bunch of people there, and they don't let me go any further. I forget what they said, but they don't let me go any further.
That didn't make a lot of sense. I don't remember the layout of that place.
It was different. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
So now, I am pretty certain that we're supposed to go to the left, so we decide to go to the right out of Ecruteak City. And so we hit, and part of what tells me that is that it's called Route 42, which skips some route numbers, whereas if you go left, it's the next route number. So we skip some route numbers and go to Route 42, and there's a cave entrance. So instead of doing the surfing right away, we go through the cave entrance, and we find we're inside a place called Mount Mortar. And we explored everything we could in there, but there were blocked areas because of strength again, I believe. And we got what items we could. And then we come out on the other side, but then we surf back across the water because there's a center area where we can go inside and explore some more Mount Mortar, but only to a certain point once again. And in Crystal, when I did that, I was also able to catch some Meryl for us.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So that was exciting. And then and there's some more trees on that center thing right outside of Mount Mortar for more kinds of apricorns or whatever they're called for Pokeballs.
Ooh.
Remember?
Yeah. I don't think I got any of them though.
Yeah. I think I did with Crystal. The route eventually takes us to Mahogany Town.
And I want to fight the gym there.
Well, when we get to Mahogany Town, the gym is blocked by somebody.
Psh.
And we know that the Lake of Rage is nearby, and everybody's talking about it. We hear all about there being Gyarados freaking out up there. And one guy is freaking out about Team Rocket being back. Now, a couple weird things here is that there's a building that turns out to be the Pokestore for us, a Pokemart, but it's not listed the same way outside, and the inside looks different, but you can still buy Pokeballs and everything. But there's also another guy in there, and the way he's talking, it sounds like he might be what's causing something going on at the Lake of Rage. Like, he sounded really, really suspicious. But nothing we could do there. So then we continue down to another building, and right outside that building, there's a guy that won't let us continue further down the path. He just will sell us Rage candy bars.
I kept going over there whenever Daddy would tell me to go somewhere. I'd be like, okay. Oh, whoops, wrong way. Okay. Oh, again, wrong way. My bad. Lucky the guy was there. I would be off somewhere else on the map, exploring pink ribbons without you.
And I'm sure it's a scam, but I decided to buy a Rage candy bar.
Me too.
Because we're actually starting to be a little more liquid in the funds. Like, we have more money these days. So
you have more money than me.
I do, but we both have enough to buy Pokeballs and stuff now.
Yeah, you're constantly getting more money than me.
Yeah, well, I'm just better. Ow! But then, inside the building, by the candy bar sales guy, we talked to a few people, and one of them says something about Gyarados being in the lake, but they gave a descriptor about the Gyarados that I'm like, Ruby, don't read this. Don't go in there. But she read it anyway and still missed the secret.
Yeah, you skipped over it. I don't think you did tell me not to go in there until probably after or something, but I read it. And I'm like, I know that there's Gyarados up there. Whatever. And so I go down. I had no clue.
So that was funny to me. And then we decided to go north to, I think it's Route 43 then. And we fight a bunch of trainers up there. And, like, we went, like, through the grass first, where we found some giraffe rig. You found one first. And then a second one before I ever even found the first one. But anyway, after going back and forth a few times with healing, battling trainers, exploring grass, and all that stuff, we decided to take the quote-unquote shortcut of the building, which I'm guessing maybe was intentional for us to try the first time. And we find Team Rocket is charging us 1,000 to go through, and we can't change our minds after we enter the building, so they just take 1,000 from us.
And I keep saving, 'cause when I'm walking around and stuff, I'm like, sure, I'll go through here because I need to catch up to Daddy. And I thought they only took 1,000 the first time, so they took 1,000 again. I'm like, no. And I restarted my game.
Yeah, and we could have restarted even the first time because we save a lot before we do new things.
Yeah, but it's part of the experience.
But yes, we decided it was part of the experience. We should just leave it.
But the second time, no.
And then one of the trainers mentioned actually running into our rival, Aka or VFT, depending on which one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And how that trainer dissed their Pokemon. Which, then I'm like, why were they dissing this Pokemon? This Pokemon's pretty, like, strong. I think it was like a Kangaskhan or something. Or maybe it was the Nidoqueen. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But we just, more proof that our rival's kind of a jerk face. But then we finally reached the Lake of Rage. And we talked to all the people there, and we sail off into the water, and we finally get to take on the red Gyarados, our first shiny encounter. Of course, it's not a random shiny encounter, it's just there. But we finally get to the red Gyarados.
This is gonna be funny.
So I got to the Gyarados first, and then I wished I had a lure ball so that it would be easier to catch. And I put theoretically. And I put it to sleep twice without missing with the sleeps, and I used 3 Ultra Balls and at least 3 Great Balls, and when he woke up the second time, I accidentally used Nightshade instead of Hypnotize, and so I killed him and I had to reset because I wasn't going to lose out on the red Gyarados.
And by that time, I was making pizzas that night actually, and I went out there, I put him to sleep, and I used 1 Ultra Ball. He broke out. Kind of annoying because I didn't want to waste an Ultra Ball, but whatever. And then I used the second Ultra Ball, and he stays in, and I'm like, oh. And the oven had just beeped for me to go switch out the pizza, and Daddy was already kind of annoyed at me for something before. I don't remember what it was, but something with my dumb luck. And so I set it down, and I'm like, I'm going to go switch out the pizzas. And I, tilted my thing up because I didn't want him to see I had already caught it because he was still struggling with his.
Well, it was confusing to me because I didn't even realize you were even close to doing anything because you kept complaining about having trouble hypnotizing him.
Oh, yeah. He was being a butthead.
And then, yeah, you finally got him to sleep and you caught him at full health, right?
Yeah.
Did you use an Ultra Ball? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did use Ultra Balls.
At least there was that, but come on!
You already annoyed me, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go switch the pizzas out. Bye.
So annoying, your luck.
I didn't tell him right away because I was scared too.
Yes, I'm very dangerous and abusive when she is better at Pokemon.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we get back to shore, we run into Lance. And I'm pretty sure this is Elite Four Lance from the first game. And he tells us it was a radio signal that did all this evolution and driving the Gyarados nuts. And it was coming from Mahogany, and he wants our help to investigate. So then we go back to Mahogany, and we decide to heal at the Poke Center first, and I figure we need to talk to the guy that was taking credit for causing the Magikarp to evolve, the guy inside that store I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in there, and Lance is there having his Dragonite Hyper Beam the guy, which I thought was cool. And then Lance finds a secret staircase by the shopkeeper, and so both these dudes are apparently affiliated with Team Rocket. And we can't buy stuff from the store anymore.
Woohoo.
So we go in and are setting off alarms constantly and tearing down the same Drowsy, Zubat, Grimer, Rattata sets over and over. Because there's always two guys that show up. And the first one's like Drowsy, Zubat, and the last one's Zubat, Grimer, Rattata.
It took so long, it was kind of annoying, but I had my 2-year-old brother sitting in my lap. And every time a Pokemon would show up, I think with Zubat, he would tell Daddy, make flapping motions with his hands.
No, yeah.
And Grimer was yuck.
Yes.
Ew. As soon as he popped up, ew. And I kept putting him to sleep, so he would go, Daddy, Daddy. Shh, shh. It was so cute.
It was amusing. There was one trainer in there that was just like a Team Rocket guy that was just standing around who I had to assume must have been a youngster at one point in his life because he only had Rattata. And the youngsters always use Rattatas. And there was the scientist in there in the middle of the whole thing who had a Magnemite, but otherwise it was the same sequence over and over. We keep being told that there's a hidden switch or something somewhere to turn off the alarms, but we just battle through them all. And then I was told that there's like traps set up in this one area of the floor that had like shaded and unshaded lines, and I'm like, I'm just gonna walk around till I fight them all. And the Pokemon battles there acted like wild Pokemon, even though they were like supposed to happen in those little spots because they were traps, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was Coughing, Voltorb, and Geodude, and we didn't have Voltorb, so Ruby and I both caught Voltorb for one another. And then in Crystal, I also grabbed it.
We caught the trap.
Yep, we caught the trap. It was kind of tricky because a lot of them like to explode on us, because all three of those can explode, which is part of the trap.
Yep.
So then deeper in, we meet a grunt with an obnoxious laugh. Do you remember him?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't the grunt with the obnoxious laugh. It was Daddy. I hated that voice so much. I kept punching him, telling him to stop.
I created a voice for him. I was reading for him. Ruby didn't like it. But then there's also a scientist who designed the radio signal experiment, and we find out he used to work for the Sylph Company, which was that one building that Team Rocket took over in Kanto, remember?
Mm-hmm.
We also meet a terrible scientist that doesn't care that Pokemon get hurt in their research and experiments. And then we find a grunt that had also fought our rival on a different mission, apparently. So that was kind of a cool little story element.
Yeah.
But then eventually we get the 2 passwords we need to get into the boss's room, so that we can beat him and get the password for another door that we need to get through. But before that, our rival shows up and mentions losing in a battle against Lance. So he decided to challenge Lance.
Yeah, it scared us when he showed up because Daddy's the first one who ran into him, so I quick saved before I went in there.
Yeah, I hadn't saved, and my Pokemon were a bit battered. I probably could have pulled out a win, but
But instead you lost.
I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he didn't fight us.
Yeah. But he basically says he won't battle us because we're losers, despite the fact that we've beat him every time, and he just talked about losing to Lance.
Right. People in this game are so stupid when they talk to us. But
whatever. So the boss, quote unquote, is an executive trainer, and then the Pokemon he leaves behind after we win is the one that has the password. Like it just quotes it like a parrot kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the password is something about glory to Giovanni or some such.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think the passwords to get into that room were Slowpoke Tail and Raticate Tail.
Yeah, I think so. There.
So then we get back up to the door and open it, and 2 more executives show up, this time a male and a female, and this is where it clicked in my head that we had just seen this in the manga when they were fighting in Ecruteak City, where it was mainly the guy sending a bunch of a Team Rocket grunts to fight Gold and Silver, but there was a woman there for a little bit too having a conversation, and she ends up leaving. So I thought this was cool, that was actually a game element that they were using in the manga that I didn't realize was a thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So then Lance decides to take on one of the Team Rocket executives, and they make a big deal about us having an accomplice, and so that not being fair, despite that we were taking on multiple people constantly, right?
Right? Like, ugh. And there were 2 of them.
Yes. And once they're defeated and the headquarters is clear of Team Rocket because they all leave, we split up inside the room that we got access to with the password, and it's a big machine that's causing the radio signal, and it's being powered by 6 electrodes. So Lance goes to take care of 3, and we get to go take care of 3, and we have to fight them or whatever. Most of them explode on us. And then that's that. And supposedly this actually opens up the Mahogany Gym,
which I want to go do first because it'd be fun.
but
Just to do it out of order.
it's out of order, so we're not doing it, and we're going to venture on to the actual 5th gym. Because this is supposed to be the 7th gym badge.
Oh, wow.
So there's 2 other gyms to go through first.
Everyone tell Daddy that we should do Mahogany Gym first, otherwise you'll stop listening. Yep. And then we'll go do the Mahogany Gym, right?
Nope. Because by the time they hear this episode and tell us, we'll probably have already done what we're supposed to do.
No!
Alright, and now for our special segment, we brought in another player to the Pokemon world, Serenity Sola, my wife.
Hi. Otherwise known as Mama.
To you, yes. And currently she is pulling triple duty over there as she's recording, playing Pokemon Go, and playing some Pokemon Crystal all at once.
I was just going to do a couple of things on Pokemon Go, but then I upped a best friend. Like, I became a best friend with someone. So, of course, I had to throw a lucky egg for that. So,
Of course.
now I have to catch things.
Wait, should you always throw a lucky egg if you have one when you become best friends?
Best friends for sure.
It doubles your XP. You get
Even
an
the
extra
3-star.
100,000 XP. I do for almost all of the friendships, because that's the biggest chunk of XP you get at a time.
I don't always for, like, the 2nd star.
I became a best friend with someone at one point and it gave me an option to throw a lucky egg and I said no.
Should have
I mean, it's not a big
done it.
deal. But if I just get, like, the first level of friendship, odds are I'll have, like, 10 of them coming down that day because I friend a bunch of people all at once, so.
Sure. And speaking of all this Pokemon stuff, Serenity, where did you get started with an interest in Pokemon?
Pokemon Go.
2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would play that a lot out in the city, wouldn't we?
We took a long break for a while.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did. What was it, like 2 years?
I think
Well,
so.
I mean, like, during COVID, you couldn't go anywhere.
Well, that was 4 years after the game came out, but yeah.
Yeah, but we played for many years, and then we took a little hiatus, and then we picked back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we played we played all the way up until, like, wintertime, and then we kind of, like, slowed down a bit because we didn't have to go up there as often, and it was winter.
I still played it out. Like, we still played pretty regularly. We'd go with friends to the park in Hudson and play gyms and stuff. But, yeah, there weren't as many Poke Gyms and stuff around back then. So.
Yeah, there was a lot less to do in the game in general.
Because, yeah, when we, like, I, like, did not play for a while. A
Same
couple of
here.
years, probably. Because then when I picked it up again, I was like, sweet, there's actual Pokestops and gyms around.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, that was really fantastic to see that they really expanded all that.
because it was really hard to get enough Pokeballs unless you were, like, actually going to a metropolis. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't just run into town or run down the road to hit a Pokestop before.
Well, you could for maybe a Pokestop, but it's not really worth it for...
No, the nearest one was, like, 20 minutes away.
Right.
And
Well,
now
that's
there's...
where towns are for us.
Yeah, but, like, now there are, like, 7 within
Yeah.
10 minutes of us.
That's true.
More than that. There's, like, 7 within 5 minutes of us now.
Yeah, we got that whole...
There's, like, a walking
route,
path and
basically.
stuff. Yeah.
I must have just struck the hour because I'm looking at my game and it was like light and then I blinked and it was dark.
It is. 'Tis on the hour.
So, before we get into your journey so far in Crystal, since you've picked that up and are working your way up to where we are, in Pokemon World, what's your favorite Pokemon?
That's tricky. The Alolan Muck. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. You love the Alolan Muck.
Really like the Alolan Muck. That's the evolved one, right? Grimer is the
Grimer evolves into Muck.
Yeah, okay. I just wasn't positive on that.
So yeah, the Alolan Grimer's just like greenish or whatever, and then
Yeah, I really like my Alolan Muck.
because he's supposed to be like oil. That's why he's all rainbowy.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he was just beautiful.
Well, Muck is like Grimer and Muck is just like a bunch of sludge and grime, right? So like he's
They're
got
so
oil in him.
pretty.
They are pretty.
And then, I don't know, is it Alolan, the Ponyta that's purple and blue?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Or
that's
Galarian
not
or something.
that's Galarian.
Galarian Ponyta. That's another big favorite.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, I just think that they're pretty. That's the biggest thing with them. As far as, like, fighting Team Rocket and stuff, I like Ursa Luna and, shoot. They're both bear-like. Maybe I'm thinking the one with the circle on his belly.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Ursaluna.
And then there's the big, like...
Ursa Ring.
No, Ursa Ring is the one with the circle on it. Ursa Luna is the bigger one, which evolves from Ursa Ring.
Okay, so they're both just the same?
Yeah, Teddy Ursa, Ursa Ring, Ursa Luna.
Well, what else? Oh, I think I know what I'm thinking of. Hang on, let me pull up. Okay, so Ursa Luna... Rhyperior, that was the other one.
Oh, the Rhydon evolution.
Yeah. I really like my, Rhyperior and Ursa Luna for fighting. And of course you can't go wrong with Eevee evolutions because they attack really fast. So like if you're up against Giovanni or something, you can get through his his shields.
Yes.
A lot quicker when you have an Eevee evolution.
Yeah, that's one thing.
What's this one? Beware?
Beware, yep.
He's cute, and I have a good attack with him, so he can pop out those charged attacks faster, too.
Oh,
so
nice.
he's nice.
Yeah, I love having the ones that can get, like, charged up things real fast. And in a lot of battles, when I'm battling, like, Ghost or Psychic, usually my Umbreon's with me, because he's Dark type. And, like, his normal Dark attack, even though it's super effective against them, usually doesn't take a whole lot of damage off, because it's such a light attack.
Mm-hmm.
But it charges those things up, and I just get one charged, and boom, they're dead.
Yeah, that's kind of what they, like, Vaporeon or whatever often does. Is they're like, I'm going to attack you with 3 quick charge-ups, and I died. It's like, hold in there to just get those shields down.
Well, that's cool. And do you have a favorite type of like fire, ice, water, electric?
I don't
Like,
think
if you
so.
had a gym, what would your gym? Which type of Pokemon?
Jim is my father. I kind of want to say fairy, just because they often have, like, pretty stuff, like the Primarina and the,
sure.
The,
Sylveon?
Sylveon, there we go. The Primarina and the Sylveon, those ones are beautiful.
Well, and the Ponyta evolves into the Rapidash, and the Rapidash is Psychic and Fairy, where the Ponyta's just Psychic. But
I want to see what else is now, too. Oh, the Togekiss, those are nice.
oh, yep.
Gardevoir, those are pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fairy has a lot of
So you'd be a fairy.
very
type
pretty
gym.
ones.
I like it.
them. Even the white Ninetales.
Oh, that's another Alolan one, yeah.
Yeah, that one's really pretty.
Alright, cool. Alright, so then, as far as the video game stuff that you decided to join in on, you've started playing Pokemon Crystal, which is one of the 2 games I'm playing, because I'm playing Silver and Crystal. Because there's some differences between Gold and Silver and then Crystal. It changes some stuff. So, where are you at in that so far?
Cindy's trying to learn a new move, but she's all out of move spots.
So,
Quick attack. That's
and
her.
who is Cindy?
My Cyndaquil.
Is it a Cyndaquil still?
I don't know. She looks like that. She has fire coming out of her head and back.
Quilava. You evolved it a little bit ago.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so
I like how you know that and she doesn't.
she doesn't
And
remember.
she's
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Cindy forgot tackle. Okay. I hope quick attack's good.
You decided to forget tackle?
Well, I didn't really decide. I just hit, yeah, shut up. Get
That's
on.
what I do all the time, and I learned. I did something sucky one time.
I don't like that I have to hit A for like every 3 words that they say, and then they'll randomly be like, critical decision.
I so
Okay,
agree
thanks.
with you.
Well, that's why they usually
sucks.
pop up a yes or no thing for you. So you got that, like, visual warning. A decision is being made.
Yeah,
It
but
looks
you're
the
just-
same as like their next 3 letter or words that they're
Right?
offering for you to say.
I
So
agree.
there's another box.
But you don't notice the box soon enough. You're just like, yeah.
Now, you mean you don't, and she doesn't.
So I'm in a cave with little orange hippos.
Orange hippos. Slowpoke.
Is that so? Like, why are they orange? Why aren't they pink?
That's basically pink,
let me-
especially for the graphics here.
Let me
It's like
see.
kind of a peach color, in my opinion. Not even orange, really.
It's kind of hard because they look like the
They're not
ones
as-
in our game.
They're not as soft of a pink as like you normally see them, but
I think I was greatly confused when I first saw them too, so I'm with you.
they're limited on their little icons because I mean you'll see so many Pokemon that share the same sprite if they're on like your menu of Pokemon.
Okay.
Or if they're on the map, like the Slowpoke is. But, like, a Shelder looks the same as some other, I forget what now, like what's that other one, the coral one? Corsola.
Coral.
So you got the clam and the Corsola, but they have the same icon, I think.
And I mean, like when you surf, no matter what Pokemon you surf on, you always look like a Lapras.
Yeah, looks like you're on the Lapras.
Why are you surfing on Pokemon?
Oh, you need to get across the water.
You'll get there eventually.
Sounds like the magic school bus.
Yeah, we're just
So,
we
Surfing
secretly
on a sound wave, swinging through the stars.
so yeah, you started in New Barktown, and then you went...
No, I think she started in.
Whoever this is, they're honored to make balls. I'm sorry.
So Serenity has a
That's
bit of a dirty
Kurt.
mind. Yeah, it's Kurt, the Pokeball maker.
I'm sorry. All right.
If you get apricorns and bring them to him, he'll make a Pokeball. And depending on the color of the apricorn, it's a different kind of Pokeball.
And they're supposed to be more helpful for certain
Apricorn?
types.
Apricorn, yep. I think so, right? Is that right?
I mean, sure. I would have called it an apricorn,
Oh,
like an
either way.
apricot. But
I say it both
Apricot?
ways.
I think it's supposed to be a mixture of apricot and acorn. Apricorn.
I say it both ways, actually.
I've heard it both ways. But anyway, you started off, so you're a Kurt now in Azalea Town. So you still haven't done the second gym yet, because you were just doing Slowpoke well, which is why it was full of your little orange Slowpokes. But
Orange
Team
hippos.
Rocket was cutting off their tails to sell them.
yeah, it's like elephants and their tusks type of stuff.
Yep.
I feel like having your tail cut off would hurt more once you finally realize it.
I don't know. Do you want a piece of your face cut off or one of your limbs cut off?
Piece of my face.
But also,
Both would hurt the same though.
I know the Slowpoke regrow their tails, though.
Yeah, but still, like the day later, they're crying about it.
Yeah.
They don't cry about it right away because they don't notice the pain. Takes them a little bit.
But you started New Bark, where you talked to Professor Elm, and you obviously chose Cyndaquil as your starter Pokemon and named it Cindy, just like I named my crystal Cyndaquil Cindy.
I liked your spelling better, though. I thought that was nice.
Hmm?
I liked your spelling better than mine.
How did you spell yours again? I forget.
The Y and the I were opposite of yours. No, I don't remember. Man, where did you go? SYNDY.
S?
C.
Okay. I thought it was a C.
C-Y. I've been teaching little children too long. My letters are confusing me rather than becoming clear to them.
Well, we've always discussed that C is a pointless letter, so.
Right? And I almost talked myself out of that the other day because I was like, well, sometimes it makes the sound like if an I comes after it. So then it. Oh wait, there's an S for an S sound. Duh.
And the only thing that a C does that the other letters don't is when it's combined with an H, it can make a ch.
But you could do
can
that
just
with a
pick a
K.
different letter.
Just choose K to do that.
You could just use the C to make the ch sound.
That would also work.
Oh, I have a Cyndaquil on Pokemon Go.
Oh, nice.
Choose a Pokemon. Why? Why would I choose a Pokemon?
All right, so then you had to, per Professor Elm's request, you had to go through Cherry Grove City and go north to meet Mr. Pokemon, who gave you an egg to take back to Professor Elm before you could even start catching Pokemon. But on the way, you met a rival, the one with the long hair, and they attacked you with a Totodile because they always take whatever is strong against your starter Pokemon.
Okay.
And then you got to name the rival. What did you name the rival? Do you remember? Do you remember this battle at all?
No.
Of course you don't.
I was so nervous when you're like, now we're going to talk about this. I'm like, okay, wandered in the woods. Lots of things popped up. Okay.
I like how you're like listening to him tell the story, and you're like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." As you had done it, and he's just,
This is why I really wish that they had at least the option to put a star on the map for where you're going next. Because I'll be like, where am I going? And I'm wandering around in a town for 20 minutes. And you're like, well, they said to go to Azalea Town. And I'm like, who?
Well,
That one random guy in the woods 3 days ago when you were playing. Don't you remember? No.
it's not just
Thank
No, I
you.
do not.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
But it's not just that. There's the route on the map. You just keep following the route.
Like the numbers?
Just the it's a path. There's a path on the
But
thing.
to follow a path, you'd have to remember where you went on the path already. I can't even remember which direction I was going when they throw me into a battle and I have to back out. And I'm like, crap, was I going up or down?
Okay, I don't know if I. Oh
So
wait,
the
I don't.
direction
I don't know if I get that
challenges
lost,
are-
but I agree.
It's not directional challenge, it's a memory thing.
Yes,
putting it out
thank
there.
you.
Hereditary. That's all I was gonna say. It's hereditary, apparently. Oh.
Sorry that we're not perfect at playing Pokemon.
Anyway, do you remember at least your character's name?
Sola.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We got that at least.
I got that going for me.
Oh, what kind of Pokemon have you caught so far?
Rattata, Hoot Hoot.
You have a couple of them, don't you?
Probably. Okay, go away.
I think you named one Owl and then left the other one as just Hoot Hoot.
Yes. So yes, I have a Rattata named Rogue.
Oh, that's a fun Rattata name.
A Hoot Hoot named Owl, a Hoot Hoot named Hoot Hoot, an Egg.
You got that after defeating the first gym.
What's the egg's name?
Egg.
You can't name the egg.
Trident.
Oh, that's one of the unknown.
Probably.
It is. I remember.
What else is in my Pokedex here? Cyndaquil, Quilava, Totodile.
Yeah, you've seen a Totodile. You don't have one.
Oh, do I have them if they have the little ball next to them?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I thought I caught a Pidgey. Pidgey and Pidgeotto are in my Pokedex. Spearow, Hoot Hoot, Rattata, Caterpie,
Yeah, if you don't...
Weedle,
If you are questioning whether you actually have it or not, when
Geodude.
you click on the Pokemon in your Pokedex, it'll have a description of them, like some lore behind the Pokemon, and if it doesn't, that still means you've only seen them and have not caught them.
Oh, fancy man.
But the Pokeball is also an indicator. Also, when you're in battle with a wild Pokemon, if there's a Pokeball up on the left corner of the screen next to their Pokemon's name, that means you have one of them.
Oh, but like I can't hold all of them though.
They go inside the PC.
Mm-hmm.
They go into Bill's PC, so you can switch them out.
Okay. Okay, so I don't have a Totodile. I've just seen it.
Correct.
I don't have a Pidgey? I was pretty sure I got a Pidgey.
Maybe you didn't save after.
I'm really good about saving.
I don't know.
So that's what I thought, but I had to refight a gym.
This is true. This happened.
Oh, man.
It was pretty easy. It was like a trainer, except easier.
It was the bug gym.
I am like really perplexed that I don't have these. I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong.
Well, a lot of times I've seen, like, you don't catch them, or you try but you ran out of Pokeballs, or whatever.
I think I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I have a Wooper.
Oh, fun.
A mucous membrane covers its body. You.
Ruby really likes the
can I just?
Quagsire,
Oh, I can just do that.
which evolves from Whoop.
It says I don't have a Ghastly either. Oh.
Yeah, I told you to catch one, but you never did catch one, because you had to go into the Bellsprout Tower at night.
Mm-hmm.
I told you really want one of those.
All right. Well,
You do for Abra.
I thought that I was catching all these things, but apparently I'm not. I haven't even caught a Bellsprout. I have been seriously focused on trying to catch one of everything when I go in, and like, I am so confused.
I know you accidentally knock them out sometimes, too. I don't know.
Okay, well, I don't hardly have anything, apparently. I have an Oddish.
Ooh, nice. You must have caught that probably at night, too, because I think that's when they show up.
Venonat.
Venonat.
It's all good.
Psyduck.
Well, you're catching all the, like, so you have Venonat, Oddish, and Psyduck. Well, those are all the ones that I was, like, catching in Crystal myself, that me and Ruby were not Ruby and I were not catching in Gold and Silver.
Well, I need some more Pokeballs, apparently. It's a good thing I have some guy making balls out of acorns.
Yep.
He only makes one a day.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying. You only can make one a day. Well, that's not true for Crystal. Actually, if you get a bunch of the same color apricorn, you can give them a bunch of them, and they'll make a bunch of that type.
Right.
But you're not there yet. So, if you're in Azalea Town, that means and you have Unknown, so we know you did the Ruins of Alph, which is where you had to put that puzzle together.
Yeah, and I did it backwards.
You did the exact same thing Ruby and I did, where it's like, it looks like it's an Ammonite. Why isn't it working? But that's because you had to switch 2 tiles, because they look like they belong where they were. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just
Yeah,
funny.
because they're symmetrical and they look perfectly fine either way. So.
Yeah, we all three made the same error there. But then, that also means that you finished Bellsprout Tower.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Well, that's good. And what'd you think about the wobbly shaft in the middle of the tower.
What? The wobbly
It's like a pillar in the middle, but it wobbles like a Bellsprout, like...
They talk about it.
I mean, I know they're like, oh, the tower shakes because they're exercising upstairs, and I was like, okay.
No. The pillar moves while you're going up the thing too. Like it's
And it's
going
like
back and forth.
holds it up or something, but the whole tower doesn't move, and I'm like, that makes no sense. Bye.
Okay.
Right. So she didn't think much of it at all. And then there was Faulkner, the flying type gym leader. How'd that battle go for you?
Fine.
Did you beat him the first time? Or did you
From
have to
your
go
tone
back?
of voice, I take it I didn't.
You didn't. I know you struggled a little bit the first time through, and then you went and, I think leveled up a little bit more. I don't think you did Bellsprout Tower before the gym, so then you went and did Bellsprout Tower and went back to the gym.
Glad someone's paying attention.
At least some of the time. When I'm around and you're playing, I'm certainly watching.
Taking notes, apparently.
No. He's not taking notes. He just watches and then knows.
Pretty much.
I feel like this perfectly personifies our neurodivergent traits. I have no idea what happened in my own game, and you remember it with detail.
And sadly, I have a mix of the two, so I'm a little bit of both. Can't remember anything. Remember weird things that don't matter.
It'll be interesting when we get the other person who also doesn't tend to remember things. Because we have another person also playing Crystal, who will probably join us on some future episodes where we kind of catch up on where they're at as they work their way to join us on our journey in the games.
I'm in a bug gym right now. I know that.
Yeah.
Bugsy, the one I had to fight twice.
Because of the save discrepancy.
I don't know what happened.
Alright, well, cool.
I know I tried to catch somebody else's Pokemon. They didn't like that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I tried to do that once, too.
Yeah, it just bounces right off their head and pings away. I had never seen it because I've never tried because I knew you couldn't. because of the history of the game being around and knowing these things,
Yeah.
and having friends that played it. So, yeah. And it's actually the whole plot of another game where you have to catch other people's Pokemon. That's a whole different thing. But, so yeah, watching you do it, watching it bounce right off the head, it was great because you forgot you were fighting a trainer at the time too. You're like, wait,
See, that's why I tried to catch another person's Pokemon because I forgot I was fighting the trainer.
So you forget what you're doing in the middle of the battle.
It wasn't in the middle. They tell you at the beginning and then they throw you in.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to go, do a bunch of things while you're in the middle of a battle and the Pokemon's just
They
sitting
didn't
there,
have 5 screens talking about it before they got to the point. And you better pay attention to those 5 screens because they might ask you a critical question in the middle.
Right? It's so annoying.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing as you're about to hit and complete the second gym.
Yay.
And then we'll probably catch up again after you and Rosella, the other player, get to the next gym maybe, or another couple gyms. We'll see. Because you guys, with the way, Ruby and I walk around a lot in the grass looking for the rare Pokemon and stuff too, so we're a little slower. So you guys can catch up pretty quick.
Sweet.
You wouldn't be able to catch her better at all if I was playing by myself.
Yeah, that's true. But,
I wouldn't even walk through the grass. I'd be like...
Yeah, we purposely walk through the grass a lot.
Actually, you might be
I
able
have
to
to
catch up.
use
I might
the,
go in circles.
The directional, the plus-shaped thing rather than the joystick.
Oh, yeah? I think it's called a D-pad, direction pad.
Because with the joystick, I tend to wander an extra 2 steps every time I go somewhere.
Mm.
But with the D-pad, I take the most precise steps I can to go exactly where I want to go. So that I don't accidentally encounter 17 extra Pokemon on my way through the bushes.
It's funny you mention that, because I do know what you mean by that, because when I'm doing trades between mine and Ruby's 3 games, because it's only on 2 systems, it's a kind of a roundabout way to get around everything from Crystal to my game, because they're on the same system.
Yeah.
And so and a lot of times Ruby's not there with me, so I'm doing it on my own with 2 systems. And so when you go into trade, you're in this another screen where you have to like walk this way and up and then turn to look at the computer screen to trade. And so because they do drift or more on the joystick, I use the D-pads just because I know exactly what I need to do to get there, and it's much more precise.
Yes.
And
I have to
efficient.
use D-pad from Dr. Mario, too.
Sure. Yeah, you're a big Dr. Mario fan.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played a lot in a while.
It's been soon enough.
You don't like Dr. Mario.
No!
I just don't like being obliterated.
No, I don't!
He doesn't like being pooped on.
That too.
And the higher level I set at, the more I poop, because the more I have to get through.
I
so
know!
It's like...
It's frustrating. You just can't win.
Well, if you tried and got better, then maybe you could.
But I don't want to.
But that's your fault.
Alright, so now for our Pokedex entries.
Who's that Pokemon?
And we'll give you the names as we go through them, I think. Gyarados, atrocious, number 130. And mine is named Gyarados.
Red for
Yup.
red. And mine is strawberry.
I actually don't remember what I called it in Crystal. Once it appears, it goes on a rampage. It remains enraged until it demolishes everything around it.
They say that during past wars, Gyarados would appear and leave blazing ruins in its wake.
Ooh, wars. That sounds interesting. That makes me curious about some historical lore of Pokemon World.
Ooh.
It appears whenever there is world conflict, burning down any place it travels through. Burning down? Are they a water Pokemon?
Yes, but they have dragon type
dragon
moves.
flying kind of thing?
I don't even know if they have a fire type move, but they have dragon moves, which so. I think they have dragon moves. They at least have Hyper Beam. I don't know what type of move that is, but it destroys things.
Voltorb Ball, number 100. I nicknamed it Electro.
And so then I have Electra in silver and Orb in crystal.
I told him he had to name it Electra because his is a girl and mine is a boy, even though they don't have gender. Because Electro and Electra. It rolls to move. If the ground is uneven, a sudden jolt from hitting a bump can cause it to explode.
During the study of this Pokemon, it was discovered that its components are not found in nature. What do you mean its components? What?
Like what it's made out of.
Like its elements?
Like the mechanics of it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the elements. I'm not sure.
Well, where'd they find the Pokemon? Isn't it a wild Pokemon? If it's a wild Pokemon and they found it in the wild,
Well, so
those components are in nature.
yes, but like you couldn't find them anywhere else besides there. Whereas like a lot of living things, you can find those things in other things in the world, in nature, right? So it's almost like if it was alien. I'm not saying it is, but if it was alien, right, you wouldn't find them elsewhere in nature because it's alien.
Elsewhere, okay.
Like there's a lot of assumptions that or theories that Clefairy comes from the moon. So I don't know.
Weird.
Yep.
Why?
Because they always come out where there's moonstone, and that's what they use to evolve, and things like that. It was discovered when Pokeballs were introduced. It is said that there is some connection.
Meryl, Aquamouse, number 183.
And then our nicknames for it in our games are... In Crystal, I named it Azure. I don't remember what I gave the one in Silver.
And mine is Mary.
The fur on its body naturally repels water. It can stay dry, even when it plays in the water.
The end of its tail serves as a buoy that keeps it from drowning, even in a vicious current.
The tip of its tail, which contains oil that is lighter than water, lets it swim without drowning.
And then we have Giraffarig, long neck.
Like a dinosaur.
Yes, or giraffe. Number 203. Mine is named Kiri, and Crystal's is named Gerald.
I like it. With mine, I decided to be a little creative. So, Ekans, you know how it's snake backwards and everything? I decided to do Girafarig backwards as the nickname. So its nickname is Girafarig. I know, it's pretty cool.
Its tail, which also contains a small brain, may bite on its own if it notices an alluring smell.
Its tail has a small brain of its own. Beware. If you get close, it may react to your scent and bite. It's about the same thing. Even the last one was kind of the same.
When it is in danger, its tail uses some sort of mysterious powers to drive away the enemy.
All right. Shuckle, mold, number 213. I nicknamed Shuckle Chuckle.
And it's still the only Shuckle we have, so I've just traded it throughout the 3 games.
And I just switched the S and the C for a C. That's all I did. The berries it stores in its vase-like shell decompose and become a gooey liquid.
Oh, so the anime episode was accurate.
Yep.
It stores berries inside its shell. To avoid attacks, it hides beneath rocks and remains completely still. And it hid underneath rocks, too, in that. I mean, it does in the game, too, I guess, with Rock Smash. But it was under some rocks in the anime.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some were.
The fluid secreted by its toes carves holes in rocks for nesting and can be mixed with berries to make a drink. I think I'm good.
Secreted by its toes?
That's what it says. It literally says toes.
But...
Its toes carves holes, so it does say holes.
Okay.
But I don't want toes secrement drink. Thank you very much. Lapras. Transport. Number 131.
In my crystal game, I named Lapras Slappy. And in silver, his name is Larry.
And in mine, it is Lara. Larry and Lara.
This gentle Pokemon loves to give people rides and provides a very comfortable way to get around. I could see that.
They rode on Ash in the group. That's pretty much their only means of transportation when they were going around the Orange Islands for a season.
That sounds fun. I'd ride that.
It ferries people across the sea on its back. It may sing an enchanting cry if it is in a good mood.
They have gentle hearts because they rarely fight. Many have been caught. Their number has dwindled. That's so sad.
And then we have Charmander, Lizard, number 4. And I named my Charmander Spark.
And I named mine Char.
And we'll probably just trade them around to get the Charmeleon for everybody, too.
Yeah.
Because I think I already traded with Crystal, too. Or Crystal's the one who got Spark and gave it to me. I don't even know. The flame on its tail indicates Charmander's life force. If it is healthy, the flame burns brightly.
The flame on its tail shows the strength of its life force. If it is weak, the flame also burns weakly. We're like pairing up for a lot of these, basically.
If it's healthy, the flame on the tip of its tail will burn vigorously, even if it gets a bit wet.
All right. And now it's time for us to jump into the 5 manga chapters that cover the Lake of Rage and a little beyond as we get into some new territory in Pokemon Adventures. And joining us for that section is...
Flame.
Flame is back, because he really likes the Adventures of Gold. All right. So, we are going through the rest of Pokemon Adventures Volume 9. We'll be closing it out with these 5 chapters, starting with Chapter 112, Raise the Red Gyarados. So last time we went through the manga, we knew that Gold and Silver was headed to Lake of Rage because of a message he got on his Pokegear. Gold is following, despite Silver not wanting him to follow. Then we cut to Yellow and the fisherman needing to get Red's help to investigate something to do with the Pokemon that showed up against when they were fighting the Elite Four back in the Red, Blue, Yellow manga. And we don't know what's to come of that, but we also learned that Red is having some issues with after effects from being frozen. But now, we are back with Silver, who has arrived at the Lake of Rage, which is also displayed on the town map on his Pokegear, and he's supposed to begin mobilization, whatever that means. Like, I know the word, but, I don't know what he's supposed to be doing. And then Gold shows up with Expo, and he's looking for Silver, who he just saw over there, but now he's not there. And then, a ton of Gyarados pop out of the lake, and everyone is running in a panic. And they tell Gold to run too, because if they start rampaging, it could destroy the town. Silver is rushing through like a ninja, and Gold grabs him to get his attention and to explain what's going on.
That seems stupid. If everyone's running around and Gold or Silver is trying to do something smart, you wouldn't grab him and stop him. What if a Gyarados is chasing him?
Well, he's running towards the Gyarados, not away from them, so there's that.
Okay, still. There is danger.
And Gold is also grabbing him to be like, hey, you don't have to do whatever this is all alone. As we see a Magikarp suddenly evolve, Silver shows the screen on his Pokegear and says electromagnetic waves are forcing evolutions, and Gold wants to know where they're coming from. So just like the radio stuff that we got when we went up to Mahogany Town.
And he just realized that electronic waves were filling the air, and he was guessing it was making the Pokemon evolve because his Pokegear was going all staticky.
Right, yeah, all their Pokegear is static. Silver flies up with his Murkrow again and tells Gold to keep the Gyarados confined there. Gold is using his Pokemon to fight, and Silver flies around through the Gyarados because it is pointless for him to fight them all. He needs to find the transmitter. Things are getting desperate, and both Gold and Silver are wondering, what is the transmitter? Then we cut over to Professor Elm in his lab. He has Joey try to get a hold of Gold, but it doesn't work because of that interference Silver had brought up earlier. Both Gold and Silver see a red Gyarados emerge, and they also find that the interference in their Pokegear is stronger as they get closer to it. They believe the red Gyarados is the transmitter, and so Silver tells Gold to catch it, and it'll stop behaving the way it is. Gold is having trouble, though, and he tells Silver to do it, which he does. The rest of the Gyarados stop going crazy, and on shore, Silver is trying to analyze the waves. Then he gives Gold one last warning not to get involved with him because the enemy he is pursuing is far more powerful than the Team Rocket folk they battled in Ecruteak. Gold says he is already involved with anything Team Rocket after he's encountered them in New Bark, the Ruins, and in Azalea, let alone Ecruteak. Which is true. Gold's been running into him a lot.
Wasn't that the same team that froze his wrist and his ankle?
Red is the one who got frozen by the Elite Four.
Oops. Sorry.
Silver thinks Gold will just get in the way as an amateur trainer with the big threat that he's after. So Gold and Silver are about to battle, but then it gets really foggy all of a sudden. And Gold recognizes the mist, and bam! Masked Man is there laughing.
Masked Man.
Well, that's all we know him as. Silver thought the guy never left his forest, and Masked Man doesn't need to explain himself, he says. Then Gold is about to rush in, but Silver tells him to stop moving around so much or he'll play right into Masked Man's hands. What am I supposed to do? Just stay still? More proof that Gold is ADHD and Flame is Gold. Can't stay still. Can you, Gold? I mean, Flame.
No.
Alright. And we got the red Gyarados, which was in the game, which is cool. The shiny Gyarados. And that was something, like I think we talked about earlier too, that was something I had known about the game before we even started, that there was a shiny Gyarados event that, like, you automatically get a chance to catch this shiny Gyarados. It's not a chance that it's going to be shiny, right? So that's part of the reason we took the detour, because I knew about this, and I also wanted to continue in the manga, so.
And then that guy I couldn't talk to, because it would spoil the secret.
Yes. So yeah, I really liked how Silver was like, he wasn't after getting the Gyarados, right? He's just like, Gold, get it so that it stops. And Gold couldn't do it, so he's like, well, you have to do it, Silver. So like neither one was like, hey, that's my Pokemon, right? They were just like, it needs to get caught so this all stops happening. And now Silver has a cool red Gyarados. It's also interesting that the transmitter was on the red Gyarados, but I guess that kind of makes sense because, well, no, it doesn't. That's not how the game worked at all. You had to go into the Team Rocket headquarters to dismantle the electrode-powered transmitter.
Maybe that transmitter was connected to the red Gyarados, and you had to catch the red Gyarados and stop the transmitter. We'll just pretend that way.
Sure, we can go that route. All right. But then we move on to Chapter 113, Delibird Delivery, Part 1. Gold rushes in with Bolibo, who gets its hands frozen. Then Gold is going to rush in, and Silver has Kingdra stop him. Then he uncovers part of the mist, and it is revealed that Gold would have impaled himself on some ice if he had kept rushing forward. So he would have killed himself, basically.
And part of the ice and stuff, I'm just wondering if we have seen this person before, except not as Masked Man.
Oh, Lorelei?
See, my first thought was Lorelei. I'm like, it's probably Lorelei. But then I'm like, is it though? Or is it just a strong person we've seen before?
I don't know.
Could be anyone.
Then Elm calls and says that the gold he analyzed that the character Gold had sent him turns out to match gym badges. And so that the Masked Man could be a former gym leader.
Or it could still be Lorelai because they might have gotten a gym badge somehow.
That's true. But I just thought this was a fascinating reveal. And when he says this, it gives us a shaded view of Johto gym leaders, Bugsy, Faulkner, and Whitney. Then there's also someone we really can't see, and one we can kind of see that looks like Jasmine, which might just confirm that you have been right all along and that Jasmine is a gym leader.
So that means we probably will see Jasmine in the game and probably will see the lighthouse.
Correct. And I forgot that when you look at your character, you can see what gym badges are still out there. And it usually shows a picture, if you haven't caught them, of the gym leader. And I gotta say, one of them looks kind of like Jasmine.
Jasmine is a gym leader. I knew it.
What's more interesting is that I don't think it's our next gym. But what's interesting is that they show these gym leaders saying it could have been a former gym leader, but these gym leaders aren't even former gym leaders, since some of them just became gym leaders, you know? So it's either one of the Kanto gym leaders, or it could be somebody like Faulkner's father, because he mentions him in the anime. Or not the anime, the manga.
Oh.
About how he was a gym leader and he kind of went missing.
You're probably so right.
So it could be Faulkner's father. I don't know, but it could be.
Probably is.
Elm tells Gold not to fight the Masked Man.
A little late.
There aren't many people more dangerous to battle than a gym leader. But yes, you're right, it's too late. So Masked Man has his Delibird cause a blizzard that ices the trees over, and Masked Man says that Silver ran away last time. And I didn't know what that meant at first. Like, did he run away back in the forest when they first battled? But we learned that that's not what he's talking about.
We should just call him MM/FF. Masked Man or
Frank Future? Final Fantasy?
Faulkner's father. So we should call him MM/FF.
Silver sends in Sneasel. There's a battle. Masked Man tricks Silver and clobbers him. He says it is perfect that Silver is the one coming after him, and it's been 5 years since something happened, we don't know what, and that, perhaps, Silver wanted revenge. Then Masked Man says that 9 years ago he kidnapped a bunch of kids that had high trainer potential to be his slaves. And I think this might explain Green's situation and why her and Silver know one another. Because 9 years ago, 1 year ago, it was the Elite Four battle. 2 years before that was Red's venture. And if Green was 10 during Red's journey, she was 12, 13 now. So 9 years ago, 13 minus 9, what's that? 4? So she was she kidnapped when she was 4?
Seems about right.
I know they talk about it, but I can't remember.
She was little.
But still able to walk around.
Yes.
Because same age as Blue, and Blue was a little kid then too. About the same age, Oak had said. We do get a glimpse of a bunch of stolen children, but only Silver is really distinguishable from the whole group that we see, even though he's little. So yeah, they all look like little kids, and it's very silhouette-y, but Silver is the only one, so like, they still make him prominent enough that you can recognize him.
You can tell the different hair. One has like spiky hair, one has a cowlick, but like flat hair and short.
Yeah, but like, we don't, like, there's not enough information to go off of, and we've probably never seen him before. And then Masked Man says dissension is what brought down Team Rocket, and children are easily moldable and will be obedient if trained right, which already seems to be flawed since Silver isn't being obedient, but whatever. Then Silver starts to go for a Pokeball, but Masked Man seems to notice and threatens to have Delibird skewer Gold if Silver tries anything. He claims Silver has gotten weak, and he'd have been strong if he'd stayed because compassion makes him weak. Gold says that Masked Man is wrong and talks all about how awesome Silver is. Then he has Expo burn Deli's feet, and Silver can get Sneasel moving again. Oh, and Gold says Masked Man is weak since he has to lean on those Team Rocket guys. Gold is determined to help take the guy down since he seems to be pulling all the strings and he won't let Silver argue with him. They both go in. Gold is very angry Masked Man treats Pokemon and people like things, but then Masked Man brings in more of his Pokemon too, which brings us to Chapter 114, Delibird Delivery Part 2. Gold and Silver do some combo attacks. There's a lot of action happening, and Masked Man taunts Silver, talking about, quote-unquote, that girl, and mentions Silver liked her. He purposefully led Silver away from Gold so they couldn't work together. But Silver knew... during the battle, he purposely led Silver away from Gold so they couldn't work together in the fight. But Silver knew that and happened to lead Masked Man to the sky somewhere above the middle of the lake. We also get flashbacks of a silhouetted Ho-Oh, I'm guessing. Like it looks like Ho-Oh. And we do see a young Green dragging a young Silver from a building that could be on fire, I think.
Looks like it's exploding or on fire. And I wouldn't say she's dragging him. That was my first impression of the picture. But it looks like they're both running, and he's just a little bit more behind.
Right. So dragging him behind, basically. Not like dragging him across the dirt, I guess.
I guess.
I meant just like she's ahead and pulling on his arm.
I guess kind of keeping him focused from stopping and looking behind.
Yeah. And then all the Gyarados that Masked Man admits to evolving emerge from the water and surround them. Silver explains that they aren't under his control anymore because he caught the red one, and the Gyarados are all angry and use Hyper Beam.
On just Masked Man.
Yeah, on the Masked Man. Gold wraps up things with Ariados and Houndour, and then he sees the lake is all frozen, and so are the Gyarados. And we see Silver and Sneasel are laying in the middle of it. Then Masked Man plunges Silver into the depths, and Gold tells him he had already won that fight, and he didn't need to do that. Like Masked Man already beat Silver, and he didn't need to, basically kill him. Masked Man claims it will be easier without him around. And then Masked Man causes a huge chunk of ice, I think, to come crashing down on Gold and likely sink him into the lake as well. And that is the end of Gold and Silver, it would seem. And seriously, it might be because our next chapters that we go through have nothing to do with Gold and Silver. We take on a different perspective here.
I feel like they have to come back, though.
I don't know. What do you? How do you feel about Gold's supposed death here, Flame?
They're gonna come back.
They're gonna come back.
Okay, well, how do you feel about his current situation as possibly being dead?
Very hard to see how that in, if this were real life, I find that really hard to see that they would come back, but
Sure.
It's a book. They're going to come back.
They are going to. All right, and so speaking of things taking a turn, we jump to chapter 115 called Fortress of Solitude. Has anybody ever heard of a Fortress of Solitude?
Yeah.
I don't know where
Superman.
That's where I'm going with this. I don't know if it originates with Superman, but yes, his ice palace place off in the Arctic is called the Fortress of Solitude. So, we're back to Red and Pika. Yellow's Pikachu comes running in, and Pika acts shy. Yellow asks about Red's hand, and he dismisses it. And Daisy, Oak's granddaughter, so Blue's sister, asks Yellow if she's told Red what's under her hat yet, and she has not. So all this time, after the whole Elite Four thing, Red still doesn't know Yellow has the long hair. So I don't know if Red even knows Yellow's a girl.
Or the girl that he met before and captured the Rattata.
Right.
Also, I like the names of the nicknames for their Pikachu, because one is Pika and the other is Choo Choo.
Pikachu.
But yeah, so she hasn't revealed that yet. And then Daisy does refer to Yellow as a she at some point during the conversation, so I'm thinking that's possibly a translation issue, or Red is just that oblivious. Unless he does know that she's a girl, just not the same girl, which is only revealed by the long hair, which seems a little weird, but whatever. Both girls try to tell Red he should rest, but he can't, because tomorrow is the Viridian City Gym Leader exam. Looks like Red is finally going to fulfill that role he told Yellow, that doesn't know he told Yellow, but the little girl, he would fulfill 3 years ago. Later, Bill tells Red to relax, and that it will be a piece of cake.
Yeah, it's really cool that he's actually going to go for it.
I'm excited about it.
I was too.
Because we all talked about it when he showed up after the gap, and he hadn't been the gym leader yet. And we're like, what's going on, dude? I thought you were going to be the gym leader.
Yeah.
Then Misty and Brock arrive with videos of their exams for Red to look over and prepare. Red is ready, but nervous, and he needs a plan in case his hands go numb during the exam. Then, at the gym, on exam day, we learn that Red fights against 6 Pokemon that don't have trainers, and if any of his 6 Pokemon, and he can bring any 6, which seems odd because of gym themes, you would think you'd have to have a theme of Pokemon.
Well, this is the Viridian one, remember?
Which is ground.
Oh, wait, I thought... Oh, yeah. Never mind.
If any of them are knocked out, he fails. So the first Pokemon is a Pineco, then a Forretress, and then a second Pineco. Then a more dangerous Forretress comes out, and Red was using Venusaur, but during the fourth one, after releasing a scent, he switches to Snorlax. Then we get an Azumarill, who whirlpools, and so Red can't switch out, and the cold water is making his legs go numb faster than usual. Then it is V versus Porygon 2. Only V ain't Eevee anymore, because it's now an Espeon! That was exciting.
So this counts as an evolution, right?
Well, if it was the anime, yes.
Dang it.
And Red and Espeon finish the fight and win, but Red's hand is giving him trouble. They congratulate Red on being the new gym leader, but Red declines. It took him longer than he expected to win, and he's barely standing. He really wants to be a gym leader, but it would be irresponsible in his condition. So still, Red has not fulfilled this goal.
Also, I like the exam leader's hair. It looks like the person just kind of scribbled.
So then everyone is freaking out and wondering who will be the gym leader in Viridian and when they'll have one. And someone off to the side says, he'll do it. He'll even take the exam if they insist. It is Blue. And now he has a Scizor hanging out with him. So they both got some new Johto-type Pokemon evolutions. Alright, then chapter 116 to finish off volume 9. And this one's called Rock, Paper, Scizor. Blue examines Red and realizes his freezing up, and that is apparently why Red was using the bike in the caves on Cerise Island way back during the battle with the Elite Four. Like, I thought it was just cool, because he's like, I'm on my bike doing cool things, and I show up on my bike. But he was using it because he was numb on the feet and stuff.
Oh, so he couldn't move very well. So
Right, so he needed the bike on the island.
Ah, that makes sense.
So that was just kind of a cool little, piece of information to toss in there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even necessary, but it was cool. What do you think, Flame?
Yeah, nice little lore drop. I like lore.
Me too. So the guy that congratulated Red is now interrogating Blue, thinking he can just waltz in and take over. But before it can go too far, the place starts shaking. So Red and Blue go to deal with it, and Yellow rushes in to stop Red, who is in no condition. Red and Blue find wild Pokemon like an Arcanine, Alakazam, and Executor trying to bash their way into the gym. There's no time to evacuate the gym, so they need to protect the entrance. Yellow tries to get Red to stay behind, but he says he's okay, and Yellow should get back. After some battling, the 4 wild Pokemon with Scizor, I think there was a Rhydon in there too, Blue catches them in Pokeballs. It's brought up that he's Oak's grandson, which makes the director of the Pokemon League nervous after how he treated him with the interrogation. He apologizes, and after seeing his skill, they decide to make him gym leader. The cause for the Pokemon showing up is someone left the radio playing in a vehicle that was playing the Pokemon March. And apparently Pokemon really liked that music and marched towards it. Oh, and Red said Blue was the last league winner, which there were multiple years since Red won, so that makes sense. Means that Blue got to win one of the years too.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So that's kind of cool to learn that Blue also won a league then. Anyway, Blue says he got the info Red wanted and tosses him a Pokeball and tells Red to ask his sister, Daisy, for the details. The info is how to heal himself of all the freezing, and so Red is taking off.
I like how he put papers in a Pokeball to hand to him. Or info or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, those were papers?
What'd you think they were?
I thought it was a Pokemon.
Oh.
And then the Pokemon, when he gets the Pokemon out, it, reveals the information or something. I don't know.
So apparently, there is a spring on Mount Silver that can heal him. And we get some flashback of Blue telling Daisy this, and that Sabrina is there because she suffered the same kind of attack. Because we saw that when Sabrina and Green were teamed up, remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she also got frozen, so she also wanted to get healed. So Red takes off on Charizard, Flame's favorite Pokemon, and tells Pika to stay with Yellow and Choo-Choo. He doesn't want anything to happen to Pika again, like what happened last time when he got frozen. Also, Mount Silver is supposed to have some really powerful Pokemon, so it ain't gonna be easy.
So he should take as many Pokemon as he can get.
He's got Charizard, he'll be fine. And maybe Espeon still? He probably has Espeon still.
Yeah.
And Snorlax.
Yeah. Then Yellow tells Pika that she is planning to go investigate the flying Pokemon that flew west after the Elite Four battle. And so she's going with the fishermen over to Johto. So her, Pika, and Choo-Choo are all headed off to Johto as well. So Red's going to Johto for different reasons, and Yellow's going to Johto for the Lugia situation. Super exciting stuff. And so that means the next time we read the manga, we will have a new main character.
Oh, me. Well, as long as it's one of these people, that's
Chris,
okay.
as in Crystal,
Yep.
will be our new main character.
I
So
still don't like that.
CYRST?
Crys is the name that I think she goes by from what I was seeing.
Oh.
But yeah, her name's Crystal, basically. Alright, but for now, to be continued. And now, for Pokemon cards! Alright, let's
They do
go.
smell good.
Right?
Right? That's why we sniff.
I think you were smelling your microphone more than you were smelling your cards.
Alright.
You microphone sniffer.
So we've brought Flame and Serenity Sola back for the card section. So we'll start with Flame, and then move on to Serenity, and then Ruby, and then me.
Alright. My first card is a water type Wimpod. My second card is Puzzle Electric. My third card is Tandemouse, a normal type. My fourth card is Toadschool, a grass type. Ooh, I got a dark type Absol. I got a grass type Masquerian, which evolves from Sunskit. Then I got a Pokemon Tool Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, an ancient card. And then I got another dark type Morpeko. And then I got a water type Wiglet.
Looks like it's one of your reverse hollows, right?
Oh, yeah, and I got a reverse hollow with that one. And I got a Kingdraw, which evolves from Seadraw, water type, as my rare card. I got a water type energy. And that's it.
Nice, thank you. I like Kingdraw.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Jamaica, psychic type. Pikachu! Water type. I'm kidding.
No, that's the Pika Blue, which is Meryl.
Pikachu, electric type. Paldean student.
What color is it wearing? Orange or purple? Blue? Whatever.
Depends. What color do you call the Slowpoke and Crystal?
Must be the orange one.
Yeah. Fido, psychic.
The doughy dog.
He's so cute.
It is.
Charmeleon.
Ooh.
Fido, I think, is actually coming to Pokemon Go soon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun. Charmeleon evolves from Charmander. Fire type.
Shocker.
Technical Machine Crisis Punch. Trainer card.
A TM.
Doxbun evolves from Fido.
Oh, perfect.
Psychic type.
Now you can evolve your Fido.
He's so cute. Ooh. Electrode evolves from Voltorb. Electric type.
Nice.
Shiny.
Oh, he's a shiny one because he's got like stars behind him and he's blue.
He's blue. He's actually a shiny type Pokemon. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Goldango evolves from Gimmighoul. Iron Man type.
Steel.
Steel type.
Messing me up, Mom.
Actually, in the card game, I think it's
Ooh,
metal.
this one's pretty too.
Oh.
Ceruledge evolves from Charcadet.
I love Ceruledge.
Nice.
Psychic. That one has a shimmer, like a holographic thing going
Yeah,
on.
probably the reverse hollow.
It's probably your rare.
Oh, is it?
It's not reverse.
And a
Totally.
basic energy water.
Then it was the rare.
Furfrou, colorless type. Toxicroak, evolves from Krogunk, fighting type. I've gotten this Meowth before. Meowth, colorless type. It's the one that like kind of looks up at the stars.
Nice.
Aww. Horsey, water type. Genesect, steel type. Ability, ACE, nullifier. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached to your hand, your opponent can't play an ACE spec card from their hand. Pokemon Tool, Binding Mochi, Trainer. Attacks used by the poisoned Pokemon this card is attached to do 40 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. Ooh, Galvantula evolves from Joltik, Grass type.
Nice.
Ability, Compound Eyes. Attacks used by this Pokemon do 50 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon that has an ability before applying weakness and resistance. Ooh, Reverse Hollow, Houndour, Fire type. Slithering, Ancient Fighting type. Looks kind of cool. It's like shiny, but not like the shiny
Yeah.
kind. Ooh, for my rare, I got Pheasantipity EX. Dark type. Ability, flip the script. Once during your turn, if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards. You can't use more than one flip the script ability each turn. Then a basic fighting energy. Or fire energy, my bad.
You
'Cause I
can
got-
speed up the text speed.
Yeah.
And you can turn off the battle scene?
Wait, you can.
What it says.
You knew that from Red and Blue.
I don't remember turning off battle screen. The text speed I did.
I know you made it so that you didn't, do the punchy thing each time. You just turned it off for a little bit and then turned it back on.
Oh,
I think this is my second week in a row getting an EX.
that's awesome. All right. I have Hoppip, Grass type, Paldean Wooper, Dark type, Noibat, Dragon type, Glimmet, Fighting type, Primeape, evolves from Mankey, Fighting type, Mismagius, evolves from Misdreavus, Psychic type, ability Magical Flick. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon. Ooh, Bramblegast evolves from Bramblin, Grass type. It's a cool ghost grass type. I like. Wattrel, Electric type. And it's my Reverse Hollow. Then I have a Reverse Hollow Trainer card item. You can use this card only if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. Heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. Ooh, and then my rare card is a double star Qian Pao EX, Water type. Ability, Shivery Chill. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic water energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck.
Mine was a double star too. You want to trade? You've got the water type.
Trading on air. I'm taking Pheasantipity EX, and Ruby's getting Qian Pao EX.
I just like the name Pheasantipity.
Yeah,
But-
me too.
It's water slash
Pheasantipity.
ice, so I'm taking that.
Alright, so that is our Poke Cards, and that is our episode. Thank you so much for joining us on this detour. Routes Through Pokemon is a Hunterfield Institute production. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and other podcasting platforms. We're also on YouTube at the Hunterfield Institute channel. So go ahead and like, subscribe, rate, review. If you want to get in touch with us, you can also email us at hunterfieldmanor@gmail.com. Next week, Ruby and I will be detailing our journeys from Ecruteak City after this detour to the next 2 gyms. So yes, we do beat the 5th one and we make our way to the 6th gym because there's just not a whole lot of action that happens between those 2. So thank you all for listening to our episode and keeping up with us. And we will catch you on the next route. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Adios.
Part 27. The Rival.
Murasaki!
The young girl's voice was muffled as it shouted from outside the bedroom door. Inside, nothing stirred. Next came the pounding on that same door, and more shouts of,
Murasaki!
Something finally stirred under a pile of blankets on a bed surrounded by books, tools, and a variety of electronic toys and devices that had been either taken apart or were partly built. Perhaps the answer depended on one's pessimistic or optimistic nature. When nothing more happened, the doorknob rattled and the girl marched into the room. She weaved her way through the debris scattered across her path until she stood right beside the bed.
Murasaki!
Silence. Then 2 hands appeared from under the covers, grabbed the pillow, and launched it right into the girl's face. Then the hands retracted, and whatever creature was beneath the blankets rolled over, likely facing in the opposite direction of the nuisance that had arrived.
Fine. You don't want to get up? Mom says that she'll let me go in your place. She said they might make an exception and let me choose and go on a journey instead.
The blankets exploded off the bed, and a boy sat up straight, his hair sticking up in all sorts of directions.
I'm awake! I'm awake!
The girl put a hand on her hip and rolled her eyes.
Yeah, I figured. Now hurry up and get ready. Mom says you should be leaving for the gym in 5 minutes.
The girl darted back across the room, hopping over the various contraptions.
5 minutes?
The boy exclaimed.
Why didn't you wake me up sooner?
The girl stopped at the doorway and looked at her older brother.
Mom woke you up an hour ago.
Then she left the room, and the boy could hear her footsteps thud downstairs. It took another half a minute for the boy to get his brain firing as he blinked the sleep out of his eyes. Then his clock came into view, and he was reminded that he was about to be late. He leapt out of bed, and his bare foot landed on one of the incomplete projects. The pain shot through him, and he started hopping on one foot for about 2.5 hops. He nearly landed his good foot on one of his tools, and in avoiding it, he lost his balance and slammed his head into his dresser on his way to the floor. He let out an exasperated sigh and seriously considered going back to sleep for just a minute. But this was his big day. He was about to become a Pokemon trainer and start his adventure. About 3 minutes later, Murasaki was dressed and downstairs. His mom tried to offer him breakfast, but the boy said he didn't have time and started out the front door. The collar of his shirt suddenly started to choke him out as something had snagged it.
You're just going to leave without giving your mother a kiss?
But Mom, I'm going to be late.
And whose fault is that?
Yours, since you're not letting me leave.
Murasaki's mother cocked an eyebrow.
Seriously?
Then her eyes drifted up to the kid's hair. The boy leaned in and gave his mom a quick kiss and a hug. He knew that if he let her go on any longer, there would be plenty more wrong with his clothing or cleanliness, and he didn't want to miss out on getting the Pokemon of his choice.
Love you, Mom. Bye.
Murasaki hurried out the door, and his mother and younger sister followed until they were just outside.
Come back right after,
the mother called out. Running as fast as he could, Murasaki had a ways to go to get all the way across Celadon City to reach Erica's gym. He knew there were others showing up to pick their Pokemon too, and he really hoped that he wouldn't miss out on all the good ones. Bursting into the gym, Murasaki paid zero attention to all the beautiful flowers and other plants that are grown there in what seemed to double as a greenhouse. This proved to be a problem when he decided to try and take a shortcut instead of following what seemed to be a meandering and inefficient path to Erica, the gym leader. As soon as his foot landed onto a bed of flowers, a nearby Vileplume aimed its petals at the boy and sprayed spores into the air. Murasaki waved them off and wiped at his face where some had clung as he continued his race through the gym. It was about 5 steps later that he felt the effects of the spores. His legs weren't working properly, and 3 stumbling steps later his knees buckled. A moment later he fell onto his face, and despite being awake and aware of his situation, he couldn't seem to move at all. He noticed people on occasion walk right by him. Nobody seemed to offer help or pay any attention. His mouth wouldn't work, so he couldn't cry out for help. Occasionally he managed to groan, but it didn't do him any good. He could hear the excited voices of other trainers as they chatted away about their new Bulbasaur or Bellsprout. One girl even had a Tangela. After what seemed an eternity, Murasaki was rolled onto his back. He was staring up at a very pretty girl who looked sort of familiar to him. She knelt down beside the boy and poured a liquid into his mouth, and soon feeling began to return to his limbs. The first thing that he seemed to be able to move was his mouth, and so, in sort of a slurred speech, he asked,
What happened?
You didn't heed the signs.
The girl answered.
And so you were hit with some stun spore from one of the Vileplume in the garden.
Oh. No, who are you?
Erica, the gym leader.
Murasaki knew he was in trouble now. The gym leader herself, the one handing out Pokemon, was probably not happy he had broken the rules. He was really nervous he wasn't going to get a Pokemon now. On the plus side, He could feel his tongue loosen up, and he could flex his fingers and toes now.
Sorry, are there any Pokemon left?
Erika just stared at Murasaki for a while. He felt his heart sink at the lack of an answer. Even if the answer was yes, she was likely preparing to tell him he wouldn't get one.
There is one, so you won't really get a choice in which Pokemon you get to have.
Hope returned to Murasaki. Sure, there was only the one, but he was still going to get a Pokemon, right?
Which is unfortunate. You see, when a trainer chooses a Pokemon, that immediately creates a connection, which ideally evolves into a close bond, but when there is no choice, there can be resentment. You won't have that boost in connecting with the Pokemon.
Murasaki's eyes widened with fear. It sounded like she wasn't going to let him have the Pokemon after all.
Please, I really want a Pokemon. I promise, I'll love it, whatever it is.
Erika frowned in thought.
Well, I can let you take it, but I'll expect you to live up to your word, because all Pokemon should be treated well, and I don't want it neglected as soon as you find something you think is more interesting.
Of course, I'll take really good care of it.
Nodding, Erika pulled out a Pokeball and set it next to the semi-paralyzed boy.
All right then, here you are. Good luck, and no, I'll be watching.
With that, Erika left. It was another minute before Murasaki could even grab the Pokeball. And once he could, he just looked over it, slightly afraid to open it. As long as it wasn't open, the Pokemon could be anything, but once he saw what was inside, then he had to accept whatever Pokemon popped out. He really didn't want it to be an Execute. 10 more minutes went by, and Murasaki could finally get up and move. It took another couple of minutes for his walking to become normal as all the paralysis finally left his system. On his way out of the gym, he saw the Vileplume that had stunned him, and he stuck his tongue out at it.
Thanks a lot.
The Vileplume ignored Murasaki's sarcastic comment and continued trying to mend the area the boy had damaged by his attempted shortcut. Once outside, Murasaki thought it was time to learn just what Pokemon he had. After all, he would need to know before he wound up in a battle. So he tossed the ball out, and there was a flash of light as his Pokemon emerged. The little creature looked up at its trainer with wide eyes. Murasaki smiled down at it, but then the Pokemon took in a deep breath, closed its eyes tight, and aimed its leafy parts at the boy.
Oh no, not another stun sport.
To be continued.